Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Isabel and I am the Starlight Witch. Today I want to do a wrap up of what was my month of April. So, are we already in the middle of May? Yes, we are. And I haven't really sat down to film anything in a little while because, to be honest, the end of the month of April and the beginning of May have been a little hard for me to navigate. So, um, I haven't really had much of the time or the motivation to do that. But today I still wanted to do it anyway because I love watching these videos. I love when other people do them. I love to see what they were up to, the decks that they were using, and all that jazz. And so I want to also share mine. So, why don't we start with the books that I was reading? So, I don't tend to be one of those people that can read about 100 books a year or something. I am deeply jealous of you if that's you, but I'm afraid I am not one of those people. So I have a very low goal of about 30 books for this year, and this is all that I've read so far. Up until April, I had a very productive reading goal. Not goal, progress, I suppose. I was reading 4 to 5 books per month, but then April came and I read just two. Yep, that is right. Only these two that you see here are the ones that I read in April. The rest of them were from before. So I suppose that, because my channel is so new and this is my first ever monthly wrap up of ever, I guess that I could do a little bit of a recap of the books that I have here since you can see them in my planner. I started the year by finishing an anthology that is called My True Love Gave to Me. I started December last year because it's a compilation of holiday stories. Half of them are like more contemporary and in the real world, and half of them are fantasy. And I actually really enjoyed them. And I found myself much more enthralled by the fantasy ones. I am mostly a fantasy reader. Most of the books that I read are all, with dragons and fairies and magic and stuff like that. So, yeah, that is that made those my favorite, but I still enjoy the occasional contemporary read, so I still enjoy those stories. But it's a very interesting one if you want to do some holiday reading this year or something. Then I had a little novella here. Well, it's actually like a compilation of 3 different novellas. It's called Demigods and Magicians, and it is by Rick Riordan. He's the author of the Percy Jackson books. So, if you are into Greek mythology, then you probably have heard about those books. Maybe you've even read them yourself. And if you didn't know, he also has other books, other trilogies that are based in different mythologies. At the end of last year, I read the Kane Chronicles, which are 3 books based on Egyptian mythology in the same vein as the Percy Jackson ones. So you know that they're fun, they're they're very fun and they're just hilarious. I love the humor in his books. It's fantastic. And this one here are 3 short stories of the Canes from the Kane Chronicles meeting with Percy and Annabeth from the Percy Jackson books. So it's a crossover because in his world, like all of these different mythologies exist. Um, Regardless, so this is Egyptian mythology mixed Greek mythology, and it was great. It's a very short book, just 3 short stories, and they were fantastic. There is also a trilogy I can't remember the name of that trilogy, but is the Magnus Chase books, and it's Norse mythology. So also in the same universe, but it's all with the northern pantheon. And I intend to read that one during the summer this year. Then I read this trilogy. It's called the Winter Night Trilogy. It's by Catherine Arden, and it starts with The Bear and the Nightingale, The Girl in the Tower, and The Winter of the Witch. And this one is super cool. Like, if you like Russian folklore, this is basically based in medieval Russia, and it has so much, like, so much of all of their mythology and folklore. The main girl is actually a witch. Um, I seem to have forgotten her name just now. Good lord. Uh, well, it'll come to me at some point, or I'll put it on the screen or something, but it's just such a good one. It's, I think, more character based than plot based. So you basically spend a few years in the life of this girl and her family, and you see them all evolve. Um, and there's magic, there's the god of winter, Morosco. There's, I'm not doing a good job of explaining this at all, but I can guarantee you that these books are amazing. I was like completely hooked, beginning to end. I jumped from one book to another like super quick, and I read them all in like 2 days each, which for me is fast. For me. So I highly recommend them if you like fantasy and if you like Russian folklore. Like, super duper recommend them. And yeah, so beginning of February, I read Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I had already read a book by this author that's called Uprooted, which is basically a Rapunzel retelling. And it really took me by surprise. It was amazing, but that was a few years ago. That is not this book. This book is basically set in the same universe, but this one is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. But this one is based in winter. It's really, really good. Also, Russian folklore. There is a Jewish representation. There is Fae, um, a lot of Fae lore, and it's really, really, really good. I loved it. Then we have this duology. Is called the Letters of Enchantment by Rebecca Ross, and this is amazing. It's sort of a mixture between contemporary and fantasy. It is based in sort of a World War II kind of scenario, but um, it's a fake war, like a fantastic war. It's basically between two gods that are fighting each other, and of course, people get caught up in the middle. And so we have these two guys, they are both reporters, Iris and Roman. They are both reporters for a newspaper, and they start communicating with each other through letters that they pass through an enchanted wardrobe. And it's basically a romance, as you can possibly imagine. It's not spicy, it's young adult, but I really liked it. It's really, really good. There is, okay, well, it's just good. Okay, it's just good. The romance, fantastic. You get to go into the war because they end up as war correspondents. You get to see its enemies to lovers. It's kind of a slow burn. It's just really, really, really good. I loved it. This duology has passed as one of my favorites, and I can see myself rereading them many times. Then I went into the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which was the most wholesome thing that I have read all year. If you like cozy fantasy, This book is going to be right up your alley. Like, it's amazing. It's based here in the UK, although in the north. I think it was Norwich. No. Well, please don't quote me on that. I've been living in the UK for like 10 years and I still don't really know my geography very well outside of London. Sorry. I hope that if you're a Brit, you're not feeling very offended by me right now. Very sorry. But yeah, it's not in London, but it's in the UK, more in the north, and it's about a witch, if I remember correctly. And I do have to say, my memory is not what it used to be. I used to remember everything that I read, no matter like how long had passed or how many books I had read in between. I used to remember everything, but nowadays, pretty much as soon as I close the book, I forget most of it. So I'm very sorry about that. But I'm really sure that the main character is a girl from Indian descendants. Her name is Mika, and she's a witch. So she gets contacted by this group of people, a group of misfits, and they see her on social media. She has a witch talk. She has a witchy profile on TikTok, and they see her and they contact her to go live in their house and be a tutor, a teacher of witchcraft for three little girls that they are raising, that they are taking care of. And so she goes there, and it's just really cute, really wholesome. Um, it's a very, very nice, cozy fantasy. And if you are in the mood for that, you should definitely read this book. It does have romance, it does have witchery. It's not too crazy. It has a witchery, a kind of witchery that is very similar to what we do in real life. Those of us that consider ourselves witches. So it was a very enjoyable read, and I highly recommend it. Then I listen to, like, most of my reading I've been doing through audiobooks. I started like that a few years ago, and now it is my main um, format when I read. I love audiobooks, and I got Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. But the audiobook is actually really short. It's like 2 hours long, and I was surprised that it was that short. It was really good, don't get me wrong. I believe that, especially if you identify yourself as female or if you were born female, is definitely a book that you should read at one point or another. But I hate that in audio format there is only ever that abridged um, edition, that abridged version that is only like 2 hours long. I do intend someday to read the full book, which is much longer than that, but for now I just listen to the audiobook version that is narrated by the author herself, and I really truly enjoyed it. I feel like it is a must read for any woman ever, but especially if you are in this pagan path, spirituality, um, self awareness, and all things like that. Then came what I think it might be my favorite reads of this year so far, which is the Emily Wilde trilogy. Has the Encyclopedia of Fairies, the Map of the Otherlands, and the Compendium of Lost Tales. I absolutely loved these books. They are fun, they are quirky, it's just great. It has the sunshine, grumpy sunshine sort of trope in it, but I loved and adore it because you usually see that, like, the girl being sunshine and outgoing and blah blah blah, and the guy is the grumpy, and this totally turns the tables on that. Like, she is the grumpy one and he is the sunshine, and it was everything. Like, Wendell is so extra, and I adored every single second of that guy. He is just everything. And it was great. It was great. It, of course, has fairies, not in the super cute Tinkerbell kind of uh, fairies, but more on the wild and the fae as we know them in proper folklore. And it's still not medieval, but I would say um, pre-old, like in the Victorian, Edwardian era, sort of thing. And you get to see, um, like it's set in countries that most books are not usually um, set on. It's in Europe. The first one is Usland, which I think I can't remember what area would that be called right now. The second one is in Austria, which is fantastic, and the third one is mostly on the Fey realm, but it also has little bits of the UK. Well, all of them have little bits in the UK, mostly in Cambridge, and also a little bit of Austria. But they're fun, they're quirky. Wendell is everything and oh so extra, and I really love that guy. And I do love Emily. I love that she is such a nerd, and she's not trying to please everyone. She's not trying to smile more and trying to um, change herself into what society will want her to be. So, I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend them. Cozy fantasy, and it has romance in them, and I super love them. And of course, the last one that I read on March was The Magic of Birthdays. I've had this book for a couple of years. I got it because when I started on the witchy path, on the pagan path, I wanted to do something around my birthday. I wanted to, work some magic around my birthday. But I haven't seen, like, in all of the books that I read or anything like that, I had never seen any rituals or ideas or things that you could do on your birthday. So a quick Google search brought me to this book, which is written by Hannah Hawthorne. She is also a YouTuber. I'll put her handle on the description box. And she has a great Instagram page as well. And yeah, it took me a little while to read it, but it does have pretty good information and has a bit on the lore of birthdays and birthday magic and things like that. It has a little bit of an introduction to astrology, Hellenistic astrology, and it has quite a lot of sun magic, which is something that I wasn't very into, I suppose. I am a night owl, and like many witches, I really work with the moon most of the time. But this one has a lot of sun magic, which was very interesting, and it added things to my practice that I previously didn't have. So, if you want to do something like that, I highly recommend it. And then we finally make it to April. At the beginning of Well, no. At the end of March, on Tolkien Day, the 25th, I started rereading The Hobbit. I read it like over 20 years ago, at least more or less, so I don't really remember that much of it. I love, 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 love The Lord of the Rings, especially the movies. I have loved them since they came out. I do movie marathons of the extended editions at least once a year for many, 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 many years. Love and adore them. And I do enjoy the Hobbit ones. I don't love them as much as I do the Lord of the Rings, but I still think they're good. I still enjoy them. I do also watch them, their extended editions, um, as part of the marathon. So it's basically 2 days or so. On the first day, I do the extended editions of The Hobbit, and then on the second, the extended editions of The Lord of the Rings. I love them. Love, love, love. And I did it by listening to the audiobook narrated by Andy Serkis. I didn't finish it. Um, I didn't finish it in March, obviously, and it dragged for most of April because, well, like I said, April was a bit hard for me to navigate. It was hard, especially at the end of it. So I didn't have much time and I wasn't very motivated. So it dragged on for longer than I wanted to. But I do have to say that the narration by Andy Serkis is everything. So if you like audiobooks, he is absolutely fantastic. I know that there are other versions of those books that were previously narrated by other people. I never listened to those. These are my first audiobooks of these series, but his narration is absolutely fantastic. Not just in the voice of Gollum, because he is the actor that portrays Gollum in the movies, but every other voice, every other character, he does give them very distinctive voices, and they are absolutely amazing. Um, Yesterday, although this will be in my May wrap up, but yesterday I finished The Fellowship of the Ring, which was also a reread, but I haven't ever read The Two Towers and The Return of the King. I started The Two Towers immediately after I finished The Fellowship of the Ring, and those are even better. But this is absolutely fantastic. It's amazing, and if you like audiobooks, seriously, I cannot recommend enough the ones narrated by Andy Serkis. He's fantastic. And I also listened to Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. I listened to it through the Hay House app. It's called Empower You, and they have all of their audiobooks in there and a bunch of meditations and visualizations and things like that. I highly recommend it if you like reading Hay House books. And it was a good book. I really enjoyed it. I think that I really resonate with it because I've really struggled over the last, I don't know, 7 or so years of my life with doing something that I'm passionate about. I would love to say that I have found my way through it all, but I would be lying. But I do like to think that I am making great progress, and that book was very inspirational in that sense, for that purpose. Okay, then we go into, I suppose, my daily practice. Um, this year, during the first 3 months of the year, I basically didn't really have much of a practice, not to say anything at all, to be honest, because of the same struggle that I've been just mentioning. I've felt very directionless. I've tried many things over the last few years to change things, to make things happen, and pretty much nothing that I've tried has catched on, nothing has panned out. And by the end of last year, I was just like, okay, whatever, I'll go with the flow, or, like whatever is going to happen, happens. So the first 3 months was more of me trying to calm and regulate my nervous system, and my practice consisted pretty much of just that. I didn't use tarot very much because I didn't even know what to ask. I felt like I wasn't getting any of the answers that I needed. And so I just took a break from it, and it's okay. It's okay. I've made my peace with it, and it's okay. But as spring came round, I decided to give it another go, to pick it up again. I wanted to have a spiritual practice, a routine again. And so I started with this journal. This is my very first Archer and Olive journal. I've seen everyone that loves journals go cuckoo bananas over these bronze journals for years. And I always thought that they were like super duper expensive, and they are. But I decided to go for it. I got myself a couple. I love this cover. It's called Keeper of the Bees, and it has this stunning design of a bee and keys on gold foil. And this is look, even the spine is just everything. It's on this sage green kind of suede material with gold foil, and it has the same design in the back, but it's just engraved. Well, it doesn't have the foil, it's just the design. And I started these at the end of April. I had every intention of starting it at the beginning of fairy season, um, but I did not. I did not do it. So I made this cover page for Aries season. Let me move these a little bit. Sorry, guys. My filming space is actually mobile, is not very stable. So please bear with me. I know it's awkward, but it's what I can do right now. So I'm pretty sorry. So yeah, I did this cover for Aries season. I got these sticker from the magician card of the Efflorescent Tarot with my Kickstarter. I actually backed the Little Monsters Tarot, but the creators sent the stickers for both the magician cards on both of the decks that were on that Kickstarter, the Little Monsters and the Efflorescent. So I have the Little Monsters one on my iPad cover, and I put this one here for Aries season. And yeah, I've been really enjoying doing some junk journaling. It's this has been really, really inspiring when it comes to creativity, and it has been very healing for my inner child. And I highly recommend it if you're a creative person. I know that I haven't introduced myself properly yet. I'm actually about to film a video introducing myself, but I am a designer by trade, and I've always made a lot of effort with my writing, with lettering, and things like that. So you'll see that this is my handwriting, and I've made fancy titles and stuff like that. So I wanted to integrate a number of practices here. On previous years, I had a journal that was just for my gratitude practice, and I had journals that were for tarot, and I had journals that were for my practice, whether that be just the spiritual stuff and the witchcraft kind of stuff. But we both know they're kind of one and the same most of the time. And when I started these, I decided to just have everything together. Instead of having separate journals for each thing, I would just put it all together. So I always start with gratitude. Today I am grateful for, and then I write however number of things I feel gratitude towards on that day. It could be anything, really. Um, It could be absolutely anything. It doesn't have to be anything huge or complicated. It could be just like a nice meal that I had, or a movie or show that I watched on TV, how much I'm enjoying the decks that I'm using, or things like that. Um, some music that I've been listening to, or whatever, just the simple things most of the time. I do try to be um, like to put in there as many things as I can. Then I integrated the brain dump, which is basically a little section for me to write whatever is on my mind. And again, it doesn't have to be something like complicated. It could just be random stuff, or it could be um, things that I have to do later. It could be weird dreams that I had. It could be just about anything. Food I'm craving. Um, just whatever, like really. It could be anything. Then I put today's astro, like I'm really interested in astrology, and I'm going to start studying. Blah, 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 sorry. I'm gonna start studying it for real, like seriously, this year. And I've been using the Chani app, the premium version. I had a 30-day trial, and then now I'm paying, but I do find that it is fantastic, and it has a section that just talks about how the current transits affect you personally according to your natal chart. So that is really, really fantastic. I always write uh, the phase of the moon that we're currently in, and then the transits that are triggering aspects or things in my own chart. I do have an affirmation. You cannot see it here, but I do have an affirmation. I recently placed an order on the Hay House website when they had a sale not that long ago, and they added this little calendar. I mean, look how cute is this guy? He is the cutest. It's just a little raccoon. Well, this is their I can do it daily affirmations calendar. With affirmations by Louise Hay, and they added it for free. And so I've been, plucking one of these guys every single day, and I write the affirmation here on my journal. And then, well, I just end up with a ton of really beautiful pictures to use later for collages, for, junk journaling and stuff like that. But I've really enjoyed putting them on my planner. I guess that next year's, if I decide not to have a calendar like that, I would then use a card deck. I have plenty of affirmation decks. And then I have my daily poll here. I write my reflections on the poll. I have my practice here. I started writing habit tracker, but these days it says practice tracker, and a few little notes. And on other days, then I also have nighttime cards. On new moon and full moon, I have my readings here. Most of the time, well, this at the beginning of this year, I actually did the Lisa Papes um, envelopes for every month, and I also did new moons and full moons with different decks. And so, for the most part, I just write from the cards that I get on my envelopes. I have the Moonology Messages deck, Earthly Souls and Moon Spirits Oracle. Um, for the full moons, I have the Everyday Witch Oracle and what's this one called? The Witchy Hour Oracle as well. I have an affirmation from The Universe Has Your Back from Hay House, and I have a card from the Self Love Oracle. And I also included for fun little spells from the the Little Witches one by Paulina Fay. What's it called? The Witchlings. The Witchlings. Just in case I feel like doing a spell. So I've included one of those in there. And then I also have a little section here that I call This Moon in My Chart. And I used the Moonology book by Yasmin Boland to check where this particular moon falls on my chart. In this case, it was on my third house of communications. And I usually use the prompts in that book to um, sort of create a spread, to make up questions um, about how can I best make use of the moon or things like that. And then I draw some cards from my Ethereal Visions Luna edition. I really love that deck. Super duper love that deck. And I usually always use it for my moon readings. That way I can make sure that, I use it at least twice a month. So, and then, well, it just comes back to my regular ones. I have stamps here that I use for the tarot, and I started doing little doodles of the oracle. And yeah, it was basically that throughout the whole month. I really enjoyed it. Then I did a cover page for Taurus season. Seriously, junk journaling is everything, and it makes my inner child so freaking happy. It really does. Also, I am a Taurus. Um, April and is my birthday month, so it had to have a birthday cake. Well, that's just a cake, but I'm gonna call it a birthday cake, and whatever. And so I put here like my packing list. So it's just the decks that I'm using. I did a spread of for tarot season. I love the zodiac ones by the tarot professor in Instagram. She's absolutely fantastic, and I took a picture here of my cards and just did my reading here, used some stamps and things like that, and it was just normal. I did change my decks. These were my birthday cards. I love them so much. I got 2 stars on 2 different decks. I love them so much that I printed them and put them here. And then I did a bit of reading for my birthday. Yes, I am 37 years old. I am pretty well aware that my voice sounds like a child. I've always hated it. It's always been like this, and I still hate it. But yes, I am an old lady. I just turned 37. I'm trying to make my peace with it. Now, this is the worst though, because I do have a little ritual here that I did for my birthday, and then I have numerology, my card of the year, well, my number of the year, then my card of the year. Gotta save me. Fuck this shit. Pardon my French, but yeah, I can wait until it is over. But there is, I guess, this other option. I have blank space here because I intend to put stickers, but I didn't do it. I haven't done it yet. It's been in the back of my mind. And there is just a tiny little bit about my solar return chart, which I will analyze at some point. And you know that, of course, I had to do a birthday card. Yeah, a birthday spread in here. So because this was a really big spread, I used like 11 cards. I printed these and put it in the middle. I used this spread. I will put it on the screen, but this is actually in Spanish. I can translate it and put it on Instagram if any of you guys would like. But it's actually in Spanish, and I put all of my cards in here. And yeah, I did a bit of collaging on both sides of that page. And here is the rest of it. Like, of course, it has tissue papers and stickers and everything, you know. But yeah, I've been cutting these edges of the journal pages whenever there is something else that I want to do that day. My birthday is on the 21st, and then on the 22nd is Earth Day, and I wanted to do a bit of a spread here as well. I did this one by the Brilliant Emerald Lotus Mystic, and it was amazing. It really truly was. And yeah, so there you go. There you have basically like every day in my journal is pretty much the same. Then we have my new moon reading here as well with the same cards. For the new moon, I use the Gateway of Light Oracle by Kyle Gray, and this one is the Crystal Angels, which is out of print. Sorry about that. That one was by Doreen Virtue. I still have a bunch of her decks, even though I don't like her. But her decks actually work really well for me. And for my affirmation, I used the Manifester deck. It's also by the same creator as The Universe Has Your Back, but this one is about manifesting or something like Master Manifestors or something. I'll just put it on the screen. But yeah, I just did the same thing, but this time I included the stamps with the tarot cards, even though, well, they're still here at the bottom, but you know, I like it this way. I like using my stamps and, you know, all of this stuff. And then at the end, I did a mini cover for May because I'm doing big covers for the zodiac seasons instead of the month. I put these affirmation from the calendar that I showed you before. There is one for every month, and then there's the daily ones. And then I did here a little bit of a summary of my practice of the month. It says witchcraft, but it was mostly, I mean, you can see gratitude practice and meditations and putting coffee for my ancestors and stuff like that. So it's basically just the spiritual things. It doesn't, it's not all that, you know, casting spells or whatever. So at the end of this month, I'm just going to put practice instead of witchcraft. And then I have this one. This is a lectrum, or however that is pronounced, journal that I am using for my Fellowship of the Weavers practice. I am a member of Don Michel's membership on YouTube. I actually started at the beginning of April. I've been meaning to do it for a while, but again, I had like sort of falling out with my practice, and well, I decided that I wanted to do something fun to get back into my card practice and all that jazz. And these just seemed perfect, to be honest. I was actually hoping to do last year's practice. I thought that, you know, once I joined, I would have access to that previous practice that was more like play and fun and D&D and all that jazz. But I am an nincompoop. What can I say? I wish I could say something better about myself, but I am an absolute nincompoop. I am an nincompoop. And I didn't do my research, and I didn't know that um, in January last year's content was going to be removed. So I missed out on that fun. I missed out on that fun, and I do not get to play Tarot D&D, and I hate it. But anyways, she still created a really fun practice for this year. It's called the Enchanted Library. And again, I just had to pull out all of my journaling supplies and have fun and make my inner child happy. So I created these as a cover for the journal. I do want to put a sticker or something in here, and I know exactly which one I'm going to use, but I need to like film a video or something before I do that. Then I have here table of contents and I use my stamps to write that. I know that she says on her practice that you don't really have to do it from the beginning. You can just join whatever point um, you want, really. But I do want to do this from the very beginning. So this month I started with was for most people the month of January, which was Once Upon a Time. I did also a little cover here for that. Then I have the beginning of the story, the decks that I am using, the little energy here, and of course, my readings of every week. I did take pictures and printed them and put them here. I was hoping to do more than just the January practice, but I didn't really get around to it and I'm already behind. But I will do this month, February, and maybe if I do have enough time and motivation, also March. But we'll see. I do have all 4 weeks of that. I have these here because I want to do a mini reading with the really cute kitty that she has for her practice. So I have these here to do, and some for the month of February, but I haven't got to that yet. And well, I do hope that I get to do that very soon. Okay, so into the onto the fun part, the decks that I have been using for the beginning of April and what was Aries season. I was using the Dreaming Way Tarot with the Animal Kin Oracle. This was an unexpected pairing that I found absolutely fantastic. Okay, da-da-da. Sorry. Let's zoom in a bit here. Okay, well, I did trim my copy of The Dreaming Way. I took the borders off and I etched it in green. Really pretty. I know everyone hates the backs. I don't necessarily hate them, but I also don't love them either. But I decided to go with it and etch my deck in green. And I found these to be a really great pairing, very unexpected. But I do think that the art styles are very compatible. They're obviously not the same. This one is a bit more stylized, and this one is a bit more um, quirky, but they go really well together. For the most part, they have very similar color palettes. Not always, not always. There are some really stark differences sometimes when the brighter colors come up on the animal kin. But for the most part, their color palettes are just fantastic and they go really, really well. I got many great readings from these. Look, even well, this one here is not exactly a frog. I think it's more like a lizard, but it has an animal on a similar shape and definitely the same color as this guy. I find that they really like each other. They gave me amazing readings, and most of the time, even the colors and everything matched beautifully. So if you have if you have both of these decks, I will highly recommend using them together because this is a great pairing and I really enjoy it. I think we're gonna end here because this is beautiful. So yes, that is the Dreaming Way Tarot. and the Animal Kin Oracle. Now, for Taurus season, I have actually changed to the Tarot of Mystical Moments, which is a big favorite of mine. Sorry, disaster here. But you are all familiar with this deck, I'm pretty sure. And I've been pairing it with the Love Who You Are Oracle by Angie Solins. And I really, really love this deck. Oh, sorry, because there's glare here. I don't know if I can fix it. Oh, I hate this. Okay, not sure that I can fix it that easily, so I'm just gonna hold these cards over here. But yeah, I do really like this pairing. It goes very well with their imagery. And I do have to say that I'm a very big fan of Angie Solins and her Oracle decks. They really give beautiful messages, and this one here is very self empowering. See, this is one of the ones that I got on my birthday, and I love it. It says, Own Your Star. And it says something about like, not everyone is a star in the sky. Maybe you are a starfish, a different kind of a star. So it's all about recognizing that maybe you might be different, but it doesn't mean that you are not special. So I really love this deck. Both of them, actually. But I think the one that I'm enjoying the most is the Oracle. And they just go beautifully together. They really do. They just go beautifully together. The messages are amazing. And I'm still using these ones because we're still on Taurus season. It is new for me to do my decks or change my decks with the zodiac seasons. Usually I used to do it by month. But this year, well, um, I started doing it like this for some reason. And it's really working for me. I haven't decided yet which decks I'm gonna use for Gemini season, but yeah. I love this pair, and I can confidently say that it's going to be one of my favorite ones for the year. So, just one more. Look at that. Yeah, they are amazing. So, this is the Love Who You Are Oracle. Honestly, there you go. By Angie Solins, and it is illustrated by Silas Tobal. I hope I'm not butchering his name. And they have been my main pair for Taurus season. And last but not least, I have been using these two little oracles. This one with my daily pool, and this one on the evenings. And they have been a great lot of fun. This deck is a Self-Care Wisdom Cards by Cheryl Richardson. Is the reason I placed that order on the Hay House website. I have seen this deck for a little while and I really wanted to have it. It has beautiful art and really cool messages. It doesn't have a guidebook because the message of every card is on the back. And I really enjoy it for my daily pulls. The art is really pretty. Here's the other one that I got on my birthday. There. Don't dim your light. the world needs your unique talents and gifts. Shine brightly. Like, how beautiful is to get that on your birthday? And I really like this deck because it's not just like have a bath or meditate or things like that, you know? It has a variety of messages. Like, for example, this one: stop trying to please everyone. Everyone is a whole lot of people. Protect your energy, you know? So you get a lot of messages here that sometimes even deal with harder. Look at this one: truth. You know, truth is different at different levels of consciousness. Reserve judgment. You see, so it has messages that, at least for me, have been very relevant to my day to day life. And the art is amazing. And they have been really good for my daily pulls. So if you like a soft sort of oracle to add for everyday pulls, this one is really, really nice. I really do enjoy it. See, it has a variety of messages. And we're gonna end on the kitty. So this is the Self-Care Wisdom Cards by Cheryl Richardson. And I ended with The Secret Garden. This is mini deck by Rockpool. These are the backs. They all look the same. And on the front, they have keywords with little messages. And I do find that they are quite on point. And it's not all love and light. You know, some of them really call you out. I got this one a lot. Um, I've got so many cards, like, especially during the month of May, that's like, relax, girl, breathe, and shit like that. And I'm like, seriously, dude? You didn't think that if I could do that, I would have already, like, and it's day after day. Relax, breathe, calm down. Okay, well, yeah, this is a very nice little deck. I really do enjoy it. And it's something nice to just end the day with. This one I also got a lot. But yeah, it's very varied, very to the point. See, these kind of all the time. So I really like these mini decks by Rockpool. I have a couple of them. Okay, so we're gonna end here. Hello again! It is the next day, and I am filming another video because I realized that I forgot to show you some of the decks that I used for other practices during the month of April. You know, new YouTuber and all that jazz, so please bear with me while I get my shit together and do these videos in a more proper fashion. But for now, let me show you the decks that I used for my birthday spread. Now, this is the Witchy Magic Tarot, which is totally a Marine made me do it. You all know Marine from The Waves of Your Soul. She is my favorite tarot tuber, and she too has a love for fairy tales and decks like that. And I first saw this gorgeous deck on her channel. Back then, I was trying to be a more reasonable collector and telling myself that I didn't need that deck. I didn't need so many fairy tale decks and all of that, but the truth is, I do. I do. This deck is far too gorgeous, and the whole being a reasonable person totally went out the window, and I stopped lying to myself. So I just got the deck because I couldn't stop thinking about it, and there was just no other way, okay? I needed it. It's too pretty. And this is the Wisdom of the Oracle, an oldie but a goodie. I trimmed mine and edged it in this turquoise, however that is pronounced, color that I really love and matches the bags. And this is still one of my favorite decks, despite being a bit of an oldie. I do adore it, love the guidebook, love the art, and I feel like these two go very well together, despite having, like, this is more photography based and this is completely illustrated. But the colors and the aesthetics and everything, they just go very well despite being a little bit different. And these are the decks that I used for my birthday spread. And it was a very, very nice, very profound reading. Um, wasn't exactly everything that I wanted to see, but, well, we all know how tarot goes. It tells it like it is and not necessarily what you want to hear, so there is that. And we are here to listen to all the messages that this practice has to give us and do our best with whatever we are given. So, this is just a joyful pair of decks. Especially the Witchy magic makes me very happy. I absolutely adore the art style. Look at that star. Oh, I just love the art style. It has this linen sort of finish. Beautiful bags. These are the bags, and it's edged in silver hollow, but you cannot see it that way. So, like this, it's just so pretty. I adore this deck, and I can tell that this is going to be a favorite of mine. Like, look how well the cards go with each other. Yes. And then there's all the ugly cards. Nobody wants to see one after the other. Okay. We'll end on the Ace of Wands on a more positive note. Now, I wanted to do a spread for Earth Day because, well, I am now following a nature-based faith, nature-based practice, and I do know that I need to make a better effort connecting with nature. I live in a big city, the city of London, and although something perhaps unexpected about the city is that there are little parks in loads of residential areas, so you are not completely disconnected from nature. You still don't get the same sort of spaces and connections that you would if you lived somewhere outside the city. So, in an effort to sort of start connecting with nature more, I wanted to do the spread by Emerald Lotus Mystic, and I decided to use these two decks. This one here is an indie deck. I backed it on Kickstarter last year. It's called Gaia Lessons from the Earth. Let's see if I can find. Well, you can see the copyright here is super, super small. It was printed eco-friendly. The creator and artist is Andrea Durfee. This is from last year. It comes in a tuck box. I opened it from the bottom just so I don't break the seal. But it is a very beautiful deck. This was one of those decks that the moment I saw it, I just knew I needed it. It is mostly um, cards of naturescapes and yeah, just different kinds. Like this one, for example, you have the landscapes, you have a beautiful natural scenery, but in it you have the figure of a woman that has been um, integrated seamlessly into the scene. Here you can see her resting as if she's a hill within this forest. You know, it's really, really beautiful. And I don't know, I just love it as a representation of how the divine is everywhere in nature. This is not AI, is fully illustrated, fully created with watercolors by these amazing artists, and I really just love it. It did something to me when I saw it on Kickstarter and I knew that I needed it. So of course this is one of my favorite cards. It's really colorful, it's just very special. And I just need to find um, a way to use it more, really, because it does do something for me. It's just amazing, and it has um, a lot of different natural processes all around. You know, different climates, different geographical um, features and locations all over the world. And on each and every picture, you have this woman that to me represents Gaia, Mother Earth, seamlessly integrated into the image. And it's just beautiful. It's just so, so beautiful. And the other one here is the Ancient Stones Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. This is mass market, published by Hay House, just like the rest of her decks. I etch my deck in these light, uh, it's a mint green or blue that I think matches the bags real nicely. Um, it's not showing all that well in the camera. And even though the art is not exactly the same, I feel like these two also go very well together, very well with each other. And this one was probably one of the most powerful readings I've had in a while. It was only these two oracles, just 4 questions, but the messages were totally unexpected and super empowering and just amazing. This one comes with a big guidebook that doesn't fit in the box. I did use it, and I am contemplating the possibility of adding keywords somewhere on the card, but so far I haven't been brave enough because the art is just so stunning that I feel like I'm going to ruin it. And I don't want to. So, but we'll see. We'll see. But these just ended up being fantastic decks to connect to nature, and yeah, just really beautiful for this practice. They really were. They were perfect for an Earth Day reading. Then we have the deck that I always use on my moon readings, besides the envelopes. Um, this video is going to be long enough without me showing you the envelopes, so let me know if you want me to do that in future months. This is the Ethereal Visions Tarot Luna edition, and it is one of my favorite decks ever. I absolutely love Matt Here's art, and this has silver holofoil in all of the cards, and it's just very special. So I have designated these to my moon readings just to make sure that I get to use it at least twice a month. So it's always near me, it's always in my rotation, and I definitely pull it out at least twice a month. I love this colorway more than the other, although I do have the other edition of the deck, the illuminated edition with gold foiling. But I do prefer the silver and the hollow and these cooler color palette. There's also more diversity in this deck. In fact, that is the main reason why this edition was made. So you have the inclusion of Native Americans and people of color, and there's also more Asian people and queer people. There is a great deal of representation here. You also get a curvy lady. But yes, I simply just adore this deck. I love both editions, but this is my favorite, and I love to use it every time there is a new moon or a full moon. I always use it for that practice. So yeah, this is Ethereal Visions Tarot Luna edition, published by US Games. And last but not least, we have the decks that I used for Don Michel's Fellowship of the Weavers practice, which I showed you my journal, but I did not show you the decks. Silly me. Like I mentioned, I started doing the practice from the month of January, even though it was the month of April, but I really wanted to do the whole of the library practice, even though it's not necessary. Like, I am perfectly aware that Don Michelle has stated in many of her videos that you don't have to do this practice from the get-go. You can just join in whenever, you know. But I really do want to do the whole thing. So I'm going at my pace. I'm hoping that before the end of May, I will be able to do at least February, if not both February and March. So we'll see. But for this one, the theme for January was Once Upon a Time, and it was having a look at what your journey has been. And I decided to use decks and colors and things in my journal that really represented me and also me at the beginning of my journey. This is my favorite deck ever, is the Everyday Witch. I'm pretty sure that everyone has seen it. It's basically a modern classic. I've etched mine in gold, and this is the Angel Guide Oracle. This was the first oracle that I ever got when I started reading cards. I was raised Catholic, like most Latinos are. So I do like the concept of angels. In fact, um, they were the only energies that felt caring and supportive and, just overall positive within my Catholic upbringing. I do know and recognize that not everybody has a religious trauma or a negative experience, but to me, that religion always felt very guilt tripping and fear mongering and a lot of things like that. So there wasn't a lot of positivity in there that allowed me to connect with it. The angels, however, were a very, very positive element of that. The only prayers that I really loved and brought me comfort were the guardian angel prayers that my mom taught me as a child. So the angels are basically the only element of that religion that I keep with myself, that I keep with me in my pagan path. So when I started actually reading cards, this was the first oracle deck that I got for me. It is mass market, published by Hay House. The author is Kyle Gray, and the artist is Jennifer Hogyard. And I really love her style. It's super colorful, which I really, really love. You probably noticed that I am obsessed with colors, and I was obsessed with Lisa Frank as a child. I still love it, but you cannot really find her stuff much these days, so I don't have everything Lisa Frank anymore, but I do still love it. I do think it's very diverse and it's very comforting, very loving. The guidebook is really sweet and I love it. It still doesn't shy away from some harshness, but it is very supportive. So if this is something that you like, I highly recommend it. And of course, we have the Everyday Witch, which is the very first tarot deck that I really truly bonded with. It is my favorite. It is never far away from me. I miss it when I'm not using it. I've used it for myself and I've used it for others. It's easy to read, it's whimsical and fun, which is very important for me. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like it's a soul deck, because it brings fun, it brings whimsy, it brings color, it brings a lot of beautiful elements to the experience of tarot, you know? And that is something that I love very, very much. So I use these decks to sort of represent myself and past me at the very beginning of my journey. And they work really well together. They gave me beautiful, insightful readings, and I just really adore them. So, yeah, these were the main decks that I used for my fellowship practice. And I did use a third one, a little unexpected one, and another Marine made me do it. And these are the Dixie Cards Journey Edition. This is basically a board game rather than actual oracle cards, but these are also very fun. I etched mine in blue to match the box. And they're just really beautiful, also very whimsical cards. They don't have, of course, any kind of keyboards or anything in them, so they are very intuitive for me. And I used these for the enchantments, like whenever we needed to pick cards for the enchantment part of the practice, I always used these cards, and I plan to keep doing so for the rest of the year, for the rest of the library practice. I think that this is going to be my enchantment deck. and I really enjoy this practice. The art is very beautiful, and there's lots of different images, so much that you can get intuitively from these cards. So I'm gonna have to thank Maureen for the idea because this is genius. And well, I also used these dies that I have over here. Pink is my favorite color, although this is a little bit lilac-y as well. They have gold glitter. I love all things glitter and shiny. So I chose this deck for, these set of dies for the month of January. Although, of course, I did this practice in April. You're not going crazy. So, these were the rest of the decks that I used during the month of April. Let's go back to regular programming. Well, this video definitely got far longer than I was expecting or anticipating. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it and that I haven't been too much of a chatty Cathy here. I hope that you're not bored. And thank you so much for watching. Today I am very inspired and I'm going to be filming a few videos. I'm going to film about 3 VRs, at least 2 VRs, just after I'm done here. And that is also something that you can look forward to if you like my channel. So please like, subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.